Alright, it's about 100 degrees in the garage here, so I'm dripping with sweat. I'm not great at taking videos, so I'll just try to get the information across. So this is the custom battery pack build for the CSC City Slicker over there. Yeah, basically just two packs, seriesed and then internally bolted together and wired. So it's solid, it's strong. Silicone around the edges, keep it pretty darn water resistant. I would not say waterproof, because if you dunked it, I'm sure it would get water in it. But pretty water resistant. The chip on the top there with that blue light, that's the Bluetooth BMS communicator thing. The blue light on the BMS itself over here, when that's on, means that the battery is either discharging, charging, is balancing the cells, or has recently been connected to Bluetooth. It shuts off and goes to sleep when the battery's not in use. So I'll just turn off the Bluetooth here, and that light should go off. Yeah, so Bluetooth's disconnected and that's off. Pretty easy. When you do plug this in, go into the Bluetooth settings and turn off discharge and turn off charge, both those options, so that this isn't live. Plug this plug in first and plug in your data aviation connector second. If you plug this in first, there's a chance for spark, and they're really small pins. If you spark it, they could melt, cause you a bunch of drama and trauma. So do that guy last. And then once it's all connected, then you can go into the BMS Bluetooth app and then turn on charge and discharge, and everything should fire up just fine. So now I'm going to show you how to take the bike apart and do some modifications to make it fit. And I've already had this apart, but I put it all back together just to show you guys. So first we'll start by getting out the original battery. Oh. Alright. And this is, I previously furbished this battery, which is why the meter is up here instead of down there where it used to be, because I had to move some stuff around inside. Let's see. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get this all taken out. And what I like to do for these cables, I'll just take a rubber band, like so, and rubber band those cables up out of the way, so that this can slide out pretty easily. Alright, so battery's out. Next thing you're going to want to do, there's a nut on the back of this screw. Just take that part off. So just took that off. I guess I can just point them out and then go step by step. So next we're going to take these two off. There's bolts on the bottom as well, so you need to hold that as you unscrew these. Once you get those off, the lock cable thing, we're not going to need that anymore. So you can either just zip tie the cable, the loose, onto this back rail, or go up further and disassemble it up in there. But I'm not going to bother, because that's more work and I don't want to do it. So after these come out, these four battery plates, screws come out, and that will allow this plate to come out as well, because it's bolted in underneath these two, sandwiched between the frame and this plate. So we need this gone. So we'll get those out, and after we do that, we're going to go over to this side of the bike, because we need to remove this plastic panel. So we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, and 4. and 5 over here. All right. So I just got those screws out. So that panel is over there, and then it just pulls out. So now we can see through this side, and we can get rid of this. We don't need this. Don't need that part anymore. Our plate needs some needs that front lip flattened out. And I've already done mine. You can see it used to be like that side, or this, yeah, this side used to be like that side. And just took a hammer, and I didn't have an anvil. I just used I think I had a 10-pound steel plate weight. So I just took a hammer and just beat this flat. So get that beat out nice and flat. And then I guess we might as well take this door off, because this door isn't going to be able to fit because this hinge gets in the way. So we'll have to take that off. So on the inside, so the top, here it is. Let's see if I can get this view. There's 2 screws. Take those out, and it's a little plate, and that just holds the top of the this pin in. So we'll take these out, and then the door just comes right off. For that the lock mechanism that locked the battery down, I just wound that around here and zip tied it to the inside of the frame, just tucked it out of the way. Let's see here. So we did that. We just got our plate beat flat. We just took the top thing off the door, so now the door just comes right off. And I'm going to reuse this panel to cover up. I'm going to have to take a bandsaw or something and just cut this extrusion off flush with the face there. And then we'll have one hole up top to fit that on, and we'll probably end up just zip tying, just drilling through the plastic a couple times and zip tying on that side, and then over here somewhere once we get the battery installed permanently. So now we're going to put our plate back in. The bumps on the bottom are different heights. This side is shallower because we had that metal back plate sandwiched between. If you want, you could probably stack some washers under it to make it level. I'm not going to bother. It seems to be just fine at a slight angle once it gets mounted. Doesn't slide or do anything weird, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to put the bolts back in. So to mount the battery in, it's going to come with this metal whatever strip of metal. It's going to be lock ringed onto this post. It's going to have a nut and screw on the bottom. So we're going to slide this assembly in, but first we're going to take the hose clamp that comes with it, and we're going to do this with it. Find my used one. Here we go. So we're going to put the hose clamp on this section here, and we want the screw to be facing us on this side on the bottom. So we're gonna open it up and put it down like this. So we're gonna thread it that way. So you can see it just hanging there. Okay. So now we're gonna take the battery. Let's see if I can possibly catch this on camera. Gonna take the battery. And it should just barely slide in. So you know it's slid in all the way, because it's going to be, well, for one, it's going to be hitting this plastic panel on the other side. And the black face of the battery will be almost flush with this silver face right here. There's a tab on the front side of the battery. There's one up here too, but ignore that, we're not using it. We're using this tab. I've already installed this battery, that's why it's curved, because it's been hose clamped down to that pipe. But it'll be when you get the battery, it'll be up at an angle like this, and it will just slide right in. It'll slide into the battery tray after we hammer that front lip down. And that the hose clamp, the hose clamp is going to go up and over that tongue, and then we're going to clamp it down to this bar. That's going to keep the battery from moving up, from moving forward, and from moving left and right at this point, which means we only have to secure the back vertically, which is what we're going to use that metal strap on the other side for. But first, let me just hook this up and over off camera, because I can't do this one-handed, and we'll get a video of it after that. Whew. So I got the hose clamp on. It's a fairly good angle. You can see that tab is under it, and the hose clamp should be tight. It should be tight, and that metal tongue should be under it, and it should be really just compressed down to the pipe. So if you press it, you wiggle it, the battery is not moving anywhere, because it's secured there. Alright, so that's probably the hardest part. Well, maybe not. We gotta drill a hole next. So I've already done it on this one. Here's my hole. But what you'll do is you'll take your screw out. You'll line it up with the edge of this, kind of flat. Or, yeah, mine's at a slight angle. Yours probably will be too. You'll take this out, and then once you get that lined up where you need it, you'll take your drill bit, 1/8. So take a 1/8 or 1/8 inch drill bit, and you'll just line it up, and you'll drill through the side of the plate here. This is really tough metal. Get a good bit. It's tough to get through, but you can do it. And then you've got your hole drilled. We'll go ahead and take the nut off this and put the nut on the back side and hold it there, and then screw the screw through it, and it just clamps onto there. Alright. Now we are firmly connected here. The battery is not going anywhere, up, down, left, or right, because it is firmly braced at the very back edge of the battery tray. We're braced at the front with our hose clamp around that tab, and then we're secured here. So the battery's mounted. If you want, you can remove these straps. I like to have them on. It just makes the battery easier to handle, just installing it. But yeah, so next we're going to turn off, we're going to go to the battery Bluetooth BMS app and shut off charge and discharge. I'm going to first connect my big plug, then the aviation connector, and then we will put the other plastic plate back on the other side, cut this hinge portion off, and then get this panel back on and zip tied. So for this panel going back on, See these two L hooks? They slide into those slots, so put those in first, slide them up, and then work this back into the body. With this, I've decided I'm just going to take these 3 screws out to get this chunk out of the way. And then for the base, I'm going to take the Dremel with the Dremel cutoff wheel and just cut away at the base and get that off. A little rough, but I think that'll be fine. Alrighty. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So it still fits. That barely fits. So for this, I didn't do a cabinet hinge. I just did a zip tie here and a zip tie here, just drilling a hole on each side and running it through. And so that works really well because it clicks in at the top with this little plug, and then the door just hinges open. It's great. So you can check your the blinking light on the BMS if you're having issues or want to see in and troubleshoot or something. And yeah, just closes back up, and I'm not concerned about that coming off while riding at all. So yeah, that's how we're doing it. With the new battery installed, everything works the same, except you don't have any battery information. It'll just show 0% and flash the red plug. But everything else stays the same. You still get your miles per hour, your parking brake. Everything else is the same. You just lose that bit of information.